Hi guys, it's Christy. It's Easter week, April 16th, and I'm excited for Easter coming up this week. We have lots of special things coming up. We have a family Easter celebration on Saturday, April 15th at 4 p.m. This is a great time to bring family and friends and anybody you know, because we'll have a very clear message to them about who Jesus is and why we need to follow him. I have a couple of announcements for you guys. There's two little things going to be a little different this week that I want you to know about. One is we're going to do a little different check-in. If you're used to using the computers and your names are already in the computers, you guys are welcome to use the computers like you normally do. But for those people who are first-time visitors and usually have to wait in a line, we're hoping to cut down on that line for everybody, and we'll have name tags for kids to fill out, for parents to fill out for kids. We'll still capture some of the information. We want to do a really good job of following up with families this year, but that way we don't have to have the long line. And we're going to try this and see how it goes this year. The next announcement I have for you is I would really like for everyone to consider serving at Easter this year. It's one of those times where a lot of people come back to church or come to church who haven't come to church in a while. Lots of people bring families, and we want a place where kids can have a safe place to hear the same kind of message that their parents will hear in the worship services. The worship services on Sunday morning are not geared toward little kids. It's to communicate better to older teenagers and adults, but we will have all of our classes, and we do have great activities planned for our kids, kindergarten through 5th, and the preschool rooms as well. So I'd like for you guys to consider, if you haven't served on Easter before, make this the year that you guys as a family figure out ways that you can serve your community in showing them who Jesus is. While we do that, I want us to focus on our Easter message this week. We will be teaching from the book of John, chapter 18, and we're going to go all the way through to the end of chapter 20. And this tells kind of the meat of the whole Easter story. We started the month by Jesus in the upper room with the disciples, washing their feet and showing humility through that. We did week number 2 where Jesus was in the garden praying, and he asked God, if there's any way, God, let's do something else. But ultimately he knew what he had come to earth for, and he knew what he was here for, and he submitted to God's will for his life. And so we pick up the story this week where Jesus is tried, and where he's with Pontius Pilate and kind of the conflict there. And then after that, he was crucified on the cross and all of this stuff that happened with that. And then we don't finish the story there, because it didn't finish with him dying. It finished with him raising in 3 days alive. And that was to show his God power. The whole thing happened because people were accusing him of calling himself God. And what does he do? In 3 days he comes back and he proves to everybody over and over and over again that he was God, because only God has the power to come back in real life form. So that's where we are. That's where our story is for today. And so we have some exciting activities that we want kids to really learn from. We're going to be looking at the lessons for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders for April 16th. All month you have been playing the game of Slapjack. If you want to play that game with your small group, you are more than welcome to do that. Remember, this week you might have a whole lot of new kids, and so they may not know the rules on how to play Slapjack, but maybe you can use the kids that have been there a few times to help explain it to everybody and see if there's fun ways to play that. You can play that, but I'll also have for you these crosses that the kids can color. There's 2 crosses for each kid. This one says Jesus covers all our sins, and they can color this in or make it look pretty however they want to. And then there's a second cross that'll go behind it, and you'll have a brass brad that you'll put right here for the kids, and then they can flip the crosses up when it's all put together. And what the kids are supposed to do with this part of the cross is fill in all of the things that they feel like Jesus's death and resurrection covers for them. So if that's a bad attitude toward mom today, or if that's I've been mean to my brother this week, they can write these things in there. So encourage them to fill that in. And even if they're not ready to do that today, maybe they want to make it look nice and they can take it home and talk about that at home. So this is, I think, is a really good activity for some of our bigger kids. It's not written in your activity guide, but it was something I picked up that I felt like if the kids took this home this week and explained this to mom and dad, then then we've done a really good job. All right, and so then we'll go to large group and we'll tell the whole Bible story. And then you have an activity that includes marshmallows, toothpicks, and paper plates. And what you need to do is just grab a handful of marshmallows and put it on each kid's paper plate. Each kid is going to get a paper plate, handful of marshmallows, and they're going to use their toothpicks to try to build a cross. And they can make that however they want to. If they want to make it stand up like this, they can make it stand up, or it can lay down, or however. And just encourage them to keep it on the plate, and so that everybody has the chance to make their crosses. They'll get to take this home, and if they eat marshmallows, that's okay. Just make sure that everybody can have marshmallows. Be sensitive in this time. The kids may not really understand or know this story. You're going to have a few kids who know it really well and answer all of the questions. See if they can help somebody else learn it. So instead of them telling you the answer all the time, ask them, hey, what's a way that you could explain that to somebody who's never heard that? And see if they have a way that they can explain it to some of the kids around your table. When you're done with constructing your crosses, you can have kids talk about the cross if they want to, or it's a good way to kind of retell the whole story and see if you can use your marshmallow man or whatever to tell the Easter story. At the end of the day, we really want kids to know this story and to understand, as best we can, that Jesus coming to earth to live and die for us, and then raising to show his godness, what is the ultimate story that all of us need to know. So, and the way you can make this about humility is, if we don't understand Jesus' sacrifice, if we don't understand all that he went through, then we don't have an understanding of how we can put other people first. Jesus was the ultimate example of humility and how we can interact with other people, and we can use that as a way that we can learn to do that. But if we don't know that, we don't have a way to process all of that information, even so that we can put others first. You may want to ask questions like, what part of the story stuck out to you? That could start a really great discussion. You could have them write their answers on their paper plate and kind of talk about different things from the story, or different ways that we show humility, or that Jesus showed humility, and write that on their paper plate. We're going to make this plate kind of the focus of the whole day. In fact, I really encourage you to not do the Bible memory verse activity. If you want to use the eggs and play some other game, you're welcome to do that, and you'll have them in your basket. But because a lot of the kids will be new this week, we're not going to focus on that part. They probably didn't know that we have been learning a memory verse, or know that there is a memory verse, or anything like that. So let's say that for our kids that we have more regularly, and focus on talking about the Easter story. And maybe that time where you would typically do another activity, that's a time where you could share your testimony, or if you know one of the kids in your group has a great testimony, or would even like to share their testimony, that would be even better if a kid would share that with another group of kids. We want kids at the end of the day to pray, and this is a really good time to kind of help everybody realize that there's no special words that we say. There's no special way that we say something that God's going to hear us better. It's just a way to talk to God, and that you can pray anywhere you are, at any time, in any position, with your eyes open, with your eyes closed. You can pray out loud or to yourself. But you can model prayer for kids by thanking Jesus for putting us first. There's a written prayer in your leader guide. If you want to use that, you're welcome to use that. It's a good prayer guide. If you have kids at the end of the day who want to talk some more about the Easter story or the way it has impacted them, if you want to grab me or one of the other leaders to come sit with your group so you can spend a little more one-on-one time with your kids, you're more than welcome to do that. Also, we want kids to know that this one day is not the only day that you can hear about this. And so if they want to come back and they want to talk to me or to Pastor Mike or to Pastor Kim or another staff member, we want to be there to help support you so that kids will know that this is a long time journey for all of us. Also, we want families to know that they can come back. You'll have God time cards you can pass out. It's a good time to interact with families and ask them what they're doing for the rest of the day. And I thank you guys. Thank you for sacrificing. Thank you for helping us make Easter the Super Bowl of the year for church world, and where we can share the message of Jesus with everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.